It's nice to meet you. My name is Deanna.
How you doing? I'm Mike.
Good, nice to meet you. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing okay. Not too bad.
Okay. What brings you into the office today?
I'm kind of just having some problems at home. I kind of just want to get off my chest, get talk about, and, see if you can provide any advice or just give any help. Would be
Absolutely.
greatly appreciated.
We're always here to help. Just so you know, everything you say remains confidential. Just me. I don't share the news with anybody else. Um, the only time it's necessary for me to brief confidentiality would be if you tell me you're planning to harm yourself, if you are planning to harm others, or others are harming you. Otherwise, everything stays in my office, just me knowing. So
Okay.
you can tell me whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Basically, recently, my parents split up. They got a divorce, and it's just been I'm having some problems at home. With who to talk to and who to like believe and stuff like that with certain things, because they're not. It wasn't like obviously like it wasn't like a mutual thing. Some are just like it's they kind of just they both. My dad kind of just walked out one night, and it was I don't know. I mean, I wasn't sure like what to think, like what was going on. I wasn't sure if it was maybe just for like a little bit, maybe come back or anything like that.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. It must be tough.
Yeah, it's something that I never thought would happen. I feel like we were always good, but I mean I didn't really obviously I didn't know what was going on. It wasn't like not everyone's perfect, so I knew that.
Right, absolutely. Tell me a little bit about your family. Are you an only child, or do you have siblings?
I have three siblings. I'm the youngest.
Okay.
Two older brothers and an older sister. It's
You, I heard you mention you were the youngest, and you thought everything kind of seemed okay. I feel like that's kind of characteristic of the baby of the family.
yeah.
Sometimes you're kept out of the loop a little bit.
Yeah, like maybe like my brother Chris, he's the oldest. He might have knew more about it, but I wasn't like I kind of not that I was like oblivious to it, but I feel like nothing really. I mean, nothing was really like that like noticeable where kind of knew something was gonna happen. And one of the weird things was because my dad lived and worked in Texas at the time. He worked in Texas during the week, and then at weekends, he would fly home and see everybody. And it was during the summer, and he was living in Texas. We went because it was during the summer. It was summer break, and didn't school or anything. We went to go visit him for a couple weeks. So we were there. Just me and my mom went, and we flew back. And while we were there, he was saying how he wants to come back. How he maybe was thinking about it in like a couple weeks moving back, trying to find another job. He was looking into it. So that's why I think it was a big surprise on like everything that actually did happen.
Okay, right. From what I heard you say, he lived in Texas. He worked there. So you didn't get to spend a lot of time with him, kind of, if compared to if he was home.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I mean, he recently he didn't always work in Texas. Like probably maybe like a year or two before the actual divorce, he started working in Texas. Like he always traveled a lot for work, which was always the thing too. But it wasn't like a lot. He was always home and stuff like that. So even when he like started working in Texas, it was a big change. It was a big difference from what I was used to.
Right. Okay. You mentioned that only you and your mom took the visit down there. Was there a reason that your siblings didn't go down there with you?
I feel like they were kind of just. I think they were busy with work and everything else like that. I was still I think it was like the beginning. Like I was a freshman in high school when he started, or it was 8th grade when he kind of went to Texas. So it's kind of like I didn't really have a job yet, so it was easy for me to just to head out over there.
Okay. What I heard you mention previously was that it was kind of sudden, very abrupt. He left in the middle of the night. That can have a significant impact on your mom. But how do you feel about it? Do you feel like you were impacted?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying, he kind of just he walked in my room that night, and I was like, I love you guys, whatever happens. And then he just left. And I wasn't sure what was going on. And, I heard my mom was upset, so you knew something was going on, and she explained it. And then it happened to be that 2 weeks later we were going on vacation.
Okay.
So we still went on vacation and everything like that, you know, which I feel like we needed to, especially for my mom, just to get
Absolutely.
away. And when we came back, everything, all the stuff was gone. So that's when we knew that it was definitely.
Okay. Kind of seemed from what you're saying how maybe he knew when you went on vacation that was his plan to come pack up the house. It seemed like it was his plan all along, but
Yeah.
you were kind of surprised, taken back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I wasn't sure, you know, if it was, like I said before, if it was serious, if it was just something that they weren't, you know, maybe for like a week or two, and you know, he would come back. But obviously,
Right.
it didn't happen.
Right. Sometimes parents get split up and then they don't get final divorces. To clarify, they got an official separation. They got a divorce.
Yeah.
Okay. That can be tough. What kind of emotions did you experience? Say that night in particular.
I don't know. I was kind of confused. Like there was anger, and then there was, you know, like I miss him obviously. You know, it was just a lot of different stuff like that. And we were always close, you know, so it was, that's what made it hard. And then afterwards, you know, it was times where I talked to him for a little bit, and then I didn't talk to him for a while because you know, I wasn't sure what was going on, and then, you know, he would text me and I started talking to him again. So I mean, I was never really sure. Like, I don't know. Like I didn't want to like upset my mom if I kept talking to him, but you know, I didn't want him completely out of my life.
Right. It's hard for the kids in this situation because you want to be loyal to both your parents, but you don't want one to get mad that you're talking to the other. So I can imagine it's hard.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned you went through a couple different emotions, and that's totally normal. It's kind of like a grief process. You go through anger. You go through, was it your fault? You go through the depression. So that's all normal. And you said you talk every now and then.
Yeah. Well, now it's every like once in a while, like, and you know, like I would text him, you know, talk to him for a little bit, and then maybe like for like a couple weeks or maybe like a month or two, like I wouldn't talk to him.
Okay.
Because like I feel like I didn't want to upset my mom, but I wasn't sure if, you know, I didn't want him to be completely out of my life, so I didn't talk to him for a while. But then he would like text me, and then I would, you know, I'd have to text him back.
Right.
So I'll still like I'll keep in touch with him once in a while.
Okay. So you were in that control. You kind of decided when it was time to talk to him and when it was time not to.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, a lot of it was because, you know, I didn't want to upset my mom. Obviously, you know, I'm still living with her and everything, and of course, you know, like,
who wants to upset their mom?
Exactly. Exactly. And I still didn't want to not have him in my life.
Right.
So it was something that I had to kind of find a balance with.
Right. I heard you say that you two were close, so of course you don't want to just give it up completely. You don't want to just burn a bridge and destroy the relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of, no matter how bad things get.
Yeah.
So that's good. You mentioned that you have a few siblings. Do they keep in contact with him?
Recently, my older brother Chris kind of started talking to him again. But the two in the middle, Steph and my older brother Joe, I don't think so. I feel like he would, because I still keep in touch with him, so I feel like he would tell me. Because when Chris started talking to him again, he told me, you know,
okay, good.
And he was excited about it, which was good. But I really doubt that my sister would, because she was really upset.
Yeah. I could see the daughter taking more of the mom's side of the situation.
My other brother Joe, I'm not really sure. Like he's kind of someone more who like keeps his privacy. Like he doesn't really like share his emotions and stuff like that.
Okay.
You know, he's always kind of just not that he's to himself, but like he with like his privacy. Like he's not like he doesn't share everything with everybody, stuff like that.
It's understandable. Everybody has their preferences.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. So that's good that you and your brother keep in contact with him, and that's a good support system. Because I can imagine it's hard in the beginning if you were the only one talking to him. It's hard to seek out support from anybody else if nobody agrees with your decision.
Yeah, exactly. And it was always, you know, whenever I talked to him, he was like, you know, say hi to them for me, you know, see if they can, you know, try to get them to call him. But I mean, I wouldn't really try because I feel like then I wouldn't want them to get angry at me for talking to him. So he kind of put me in a weird spot, but not like it wasn't something that I wasn't. I don't know. It was just. It was a hard spot to be in.
Yeah, it sounds like you were put in a tough position. Here you are, you wanted to keep in contact with your father, but he kind of did some things that caused some anger in the family, a little bit of resentment toward him, and it was hard when you were the only one who wanted to keep in contact with him.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to get scrutinized by your mom, especially, or your 3 siblings.
No.
So
Yeah.
I could imagine that you were in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned you were close. What were some memories you have of growing up with your dad?
We were always into baseball. I always played. He always got me into it and stuff like that. And sports was a big thing. He's a big Jets fan. He got me into it, fortunately. And he was always a big, sports fans. We always went to the games and stuff like that whenever we could.
Good.
We always just, watch the games, stuff like that.
Mhm.
It was just something that we were always close with.
Okay. And have you maintained the same relationship? You're still both into the sports and.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I always talk to him and stuff like that about like the games and stuff like that, just
Good.
to keep in touch with him and
Yeah,
everything,
absolutely.
see how he's doing, stuff like that.
Okay. You mentioned previously that he had moved to Texas for work. After he left, is he now in Texas permanently? Is that where he's living?
For now, he is. He recently, because he's had a couple different jobs.
Okay.
Right now, he's with an insurance company.
Mhm.
He previously worked for EA Sports, the video game company,
Okay.
and he worked and lived in Florida. But he was at first, like when he first moved away, he was in Texas. So he went from Texas to Florida, back to Texas for now.
Okay.
But I think he wants to move back to Florida because he said he really liked it there, and he had a nice property and stuff like that.
Okay. Just for clarification, he started out in Texas, moved to Florida, and thus is now in Texas.
Yes.
But looking for a place in Florida.
Yeah, he's looking to move.
Okay.
He still has the place in Florida. He's just looking to move back there, maybe try to find a job there or something like that.
Okay. And have you seen him in person post divorce?
Yeah. I visited him a couple times. I went to Texas, went to Florida, maybe like a year or two ago.
Okay.
Which was nice. It was fun. Got to hang out with him and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And a couple of my friends came down too, so we went to like Disney World and stuff like that. We were down there,
Okay.
so it was a nice trip.
Yeah.
My mom, I mean, if I talked to him, my mom wasn't like happy with it,
Mhm.
like with the trip to Florida. I kind of really didn't. I told her I would see him, but I didn't really tell her
Okay.
I was like staying with him for like the first half of the week,
Okay.
something like that.
Mhm.
But the trip to Texas, she wasn't really happy about, which is understandable.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna.
Okay.
But she obviously, I want to, try to visit him back in Texas again.
Mhm.
But we'll see. I'm sure she'd be, as the time goes by, she's obviously gotten better with it.
Yeah.
So
Good.
it's something that I want to try to do.
Mhm. Something that might take time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's something that I feel like you just have to, talk to her, because she knows that I talk to him. She knows that I keep in touch with him and stuff like that. So it's something that, and then every once in a while he'll actually come down here for a Jets game or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that, and I'll get to see him here, which is nice.
Good. Okay, so it sounds like you see him quite often.
Yeah, probably. Depending, maybe like, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's probably like maybe like once or twice a year, maybe
Okay.
maybe a little more, depending on what happens.
Mhm.
If he flies to New York for a job or
Right.
something like that, because like I said, he's always traveling around.
Mhm.
He was actually just in Malaysia for 2 weeks
Oh,
for
okay.
part of his job, so
Wow.
it was something that I had to do.
Okay. I did hear you mention something that when you went to visit him the first time, your mom wasn't happy about it. What kind of emotions do you think she goes through?
I think the main thing that she isn't happy about that I go is that it kind of makes him think that what he did was okay. Like in
Okay.
her mind, that's what she's think. That's what,
Mhm.
like
Okay.
that everything, like what he did was okay and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know why they ever split
Mhm.
up. Like I don't know why he left.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure I've never really asked him, never really
Mhm.
talked to him about it.
Okay.
I'm sure it's his own reason. Like I'm not
Mhm.
gonna blame him for it. I'm not
Right.
gonna. It's it happens. So
Yeah.
it's something that it could. I feel like he already knows. He already feels, no matter what I say, that he thought it was the right decision.
Okay.
So I
Mhm.
feel like either whatever I do, it's not gonna impact that.
Right. So you think that she feels that you are kind of giving him permission to say what you did was okay and I forgive you for it. Is
Yeah.
that what you think she feels?
I feel like that's like the main thing, and I know he's remarried and stuff like that, so I know she's not happy with that. Obviously, if I had met my stepmom,
Right.
stuff like that, but I've met her like once,
Okay.
but she was like, just I think she feels like I don't know, like she feels kind of like not really jealous, but like she doesn't want me to.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying. Maybe now that you're getting a little bit older, do you think it would be beneficial to talk to your dad and kind of learn what the reason was behind that?
I think eventually I'd probably talk to him to see, like what happened, like what was, just
Right.
just for something to know, and just
In time, there's no rush.
yeah, exactly.
Alright, so to kind of recap, I'm glad that you felt comfortable with me, that you wanted to open up and kind of share you were going through some tough times at home. I know it can be tough, but it sounds like you have a good support system with your brother. Maybe the relationship with your mom might just take a little bit of time for her to be kind of 100% okay with you talking to your dad,
Yeah.
but it's all in due time. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I think that's pretty much it.
You feel a little more relieved?
I feel better just to
Just
to
to
talk
get it
to
off your
someone about it.
chest.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Well, I'm glad you came in.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe we'll see you next week. We'll schedule another appointment.
Okay.
Okay. It was great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.